Hello, I'm Scorpibot, and in today's video I will showing you how to create a map in Bonkyo. First, you should click on Custom Game and create your own room. You can name it to anything, you can keep this already generated name. You don't have to write a password because you can change the number of max players to 1, and this way you are the only one who can play on this room. Let's create. Click on join and click on editor. Here are a lot of stuff. You can delete and change things, but you cannot save because that's not your map. You should click on new to create your own map. This is an empty map, as you can see, nothing in it. Literally the only thing you can do here is create a new element. There are 3 types of elements: platforms, spawns and capture zones. Let's start with platforms. The platforms has a platform has a big amount of properties, so I will go through all in order. There's a name of the platform. You can change it to anything, as there are an x and y coordinates of it. These are standing for the position of the platform. So as you can see, if I change these, the position of the platform is changing. If this is a negative value, it will be on the other side, as you can see. But change it back to 0. Angle. I think the angle is pretty obvious. Because it changes the angle of the platform. Bounciness. To show you what bounciness is, I should create a spawn, and I will change the coordinates a bit to spawn it on. So as you can see, the bounciness now 0.8. If I start, the platform will bounce like this. That's not a big deal. But if I change the bounciness, for example, to 5, some strange things will happen. I just shoot it out in the air because platform with the bounciness of 5 is really bouncy. This is how the dragon maps are made. The dragons are just dragon is just a platform with a high bounciness, but there's not all. If you change the bounciness to a negative value, the platform will not bounce. As you can see, I'm jumping and not bouncing. Let's move on. The next thing I will show you, I change it back. Not the density and not the dynamic. I will talk about this maybe in another video. But let's talk about shape. As you can see, there's a big button down there that says add new shape. You can have any shape in a platform. A shape has its own coordinates, as you can see, but these are relative coordinates. As you can see, if I change these coordinates, the whole structure will be to these coordinates. But if I change the shape's coordinates, just the shape will go. So these are relative coordinates. These are the relative position. The angle is pretty obvious too, I think. But there's a shape. The shape of the shape. Now it's rectangle, but it can be round rectangle. This is a rounded rectangle. A circle, a shrinking rectangle, and a triangle. The circle's radius is the value of the width of the platform, of the shape. So if I set it to a smaller number, the radius of the circle will be smaller. But if I change the height of the platform, of the shape, nothing will happen. Okay, the shrinking rectangle is a rectangle that will be smaller and smaller over time. Oops, I bugged out. I changed the coordinates of the platform to show you. But as you can see, the shrinking rectangle is shrinking like this. This can be very helpful for a lot of maps. But there's a triangle too. Let's keep it in rectangle. Now let's talk about the color of the shape. Here you can change the color of it to yellow or blue. You can change on this table here and change the brightness. But the most important thing is if you change it to black, it will kill you instantly, as you can see. But change it back to yellow. Okay, now the next thing that I will showing you is that if I change the no physics to true, you cannot contact with the shape. As you can see, I cannot contact with this circle because that's no physics, and other shapes cannot contact with it too. And the last thing about the shapes is these little arrows here. These are the layers of the shapes. So if a shape is downer than the other one, that means this shape is more closely to us. So I will show you that if I change the circle to up there, as you can see, now it's behind the yellow stuff. So yeah, that's it. The next thing I will talking about is this spawn. You can change the position of it too, but there's a start speed. If I do it like this, I will be I will be shooted out a little bit. I put it to -1 because that's the up one, but as you can see, I will probably that's too small. Let's do it 100. I cannot. Then 1999. Bam, like this. So the starting speed is this. You can change the speed of the starting speed. Okay, let's do it back to 0. And there are some uses. There are FFA uses, blue uses, and red uses. That means that these things only important if the players playing in team mode. So for example, if red uses are false and blue use is true, only blue team members can spawn on this spawn point. But if red uses are true and blue uses are false, only red team members can spawn on this spawn point. Okay. And last thing that is important is the priority. I will create another spawn and change the position of it a bit, like this. Okay. If I change the priority of this spawn to 1, for example, and I keep this priority on 5, I will spawn on the higher priority spawn point. But as you can see, if I change this priority to 6, I will spawn in this side. So players will spawn on highest on spawn point with the highest priority if they can. If there's no another player on this spawn point already. Okay, I think that's about the spawns. Let's talk about capture zones. Here it is. There's just a few property. You can change the position of it and the radius. It can be 20. This is the maximum. If am I right? Yeah, I'm right. This is the maximum. And there's a capture time. If capture time is 0, somehow you die instantly. I don't know what it is. I think it's a bug. But okay. If capture time, but you can still set the capture time on a really small number, so this way you can capture it almost instantly. And you can set the radius to a really small number too, so this way it's almost unnoticeable, just a small dot. Okay, the last things that I will speaking about in this video is the map settings. You can change the vert scale on it. I think it's pretty obvious because you can see the players. The spawn point is even smaller and smaller if the vert scale is bigger. So like this, I'm really small. Okay, and you can change it. It has some vertices, yeah, map settings. So it can be tiny too. So there are a lot of settings on it. It can be tiny, small, normal, big, massive, and stuff like this. So this way I'm really big and the map is really small. But okay, let's move on. Map settings, here it is. Let's put it back to normal. Players don't collide. It's pretty obvious. If it's true, players don't collide. Respawn on death, deaths too. If it's true, you will respawn. Flying map, if there's a flying map, you can fly like this, but not really good. You will still fall if you stop going up. So if I go up and then stop and try to go up again, you cannot. So it's a bit strange, I think, but okay. And the last thing, that you can save the map, give it a name. Crap. Save. And after you saved it, you can change this to maps by you, and you can see there your newest map. And with this trash can icon you can delete it. I will delete it because it's crap. But this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you do, please like it and subscribe, and if you want to, share it with your friends. But this is the end. I wish you liked it. Goodbye.